Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why are we so good at absorbing information but never taught how to think? In a world drowning in data, most of us are lost, overwhelmed, and struggling to control our own minds. But what if I told you there's a 2,000-year-old philosophy that can change all that? Stoicism isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a powerful tool to take control of your thoughts, conquer pressure, and live with true self-mastery. Stay with me, because what you'll learn today could transform the way you think forever. Let's dive in. Let me ask you something. How many times have you felt overwhelmed, frustrated, or completely defeated by circumstances beyond your control? Maybe it's an angry email from your boss, a project that didn't go as planned, or a personal setback you didn't see coming. We've all been there. But what if I told you that the root of most of your stress, anxiety, and frustration doesn't actually come from those situations themselves? It comes from how you choose to react to them. That's exactly where the first principle of Stoicism comes in. Control what you can, accept what you can't. Think about it for a second. How much energy do we spend fighting against things we can't change? Whether it's a bad situation, a person's behavior, or the economy, we often waste precious time and emotional energy trying to control the uncontrollable. And guess what? It doesn't work. It only drains you, leaving you exhausted and disillusioned. But there's another way. A better way. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught us a powerful lesson. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This isn't just some inspirational quote meant to make you feel good. It's a mindset shift that can completely transform your life. Let's break it down. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we have the power to control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. That's it. The rest? It's outside of your control. You can't control how someone treats you, how the stock market behaves, or whether a car cuts you off in traffic. You can only control yourself, how you respond to these things, and once you embrace that idea, everything changes. Take a moment and think back to a recent situation where you felt frustrated or upset. Maybe it was something at work, or perhaps a disagreement with a friend or partner. Now, ask yourself, what part of that situation could I have controlled? The answer is simple. You control your response, your attitude, and your actions. That's the only thing you ever really control. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you free yourself from the unnecessary weight of trying to control things you can't. Let me give you a real-life example that illustrates this perfectly. It's the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. When Sarah was just starting out, she faced rejection after rejection from manufacturers who turned her ideas down. Hundreds of no's. And most people would have quit, but not Sarah. Instead of wasting her energy on feeling defeated by what she couldn't control, like the rejection from others, she focused on what she could control, her actions. She took the time to teach herself the manufacturing process, research materials, and perfect her prototype. Day after day, she took small steps to move forward, even when it seemed impossible. And today, Spanx is a billion-dollar company. Now let's apply this principle to your life. How many times do you let external events, someone's criticism, a missed opportunity, an unexpected problem, get under your skin? How many times do you react impulsively, allowing your emotions to dictate your decisions? Here's the Stoic truth. You can't control how people behave, but you can control how you respond. And when you shift your focus to controlling your actions, you'll find that your stress levels drop, your confidence increases, and your results improve. It's not easy. The world will always throw things your way that are out of your control. You will face obstacles that seem insurmountable, criticism that feels unfair, and failures that hit hard. But the power lies in how you choose to handle it. In those moments, ask yourself, what can I control here? Can you control how you prepare? Can you control your effort and perseverance? Can you control your response? The answer is yes. Here's another way to look at it. Let's say you have a big meeting or presentation at work, and you're nervous about how it will go. You could spend hours worrying about whether you'll get approval, whether people will agree with your ideas, or whether things will go wrong. But let me ask you, how much of that is in your control? Sure, you can control how well you prepare, how clearly you communicate, and how confidently you present your ideas. But beyond that, nothing. Once you accept that, you'll stop stressing about things you can't change and focus on what truly matters: your effort, your attitude, and your performance. Now, let's make it personal. Think about the challenges you're facing right now, whether in your career, your relationships, or your personal goals. What part of those challenges is within your control? Maybe it's your mindset, your habits, your work ethic, or how you choose to respond to setbacks. The key is this: you have the power to control your reaction and your mindset. That's where your true strength lies. But here's the most important part: accepting what you can't control. Once you stop fighting against the uncontrollable, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Imagine the relief of letting go of the need to change things you can't, and instead focusing all your energy on what you can control. It's liberating, and that's where real growth happens. By now, you're starting to see how powerful this principle really is. But here's the truth: this is just the beginning. Stoicism teaches us that mastering our minds and actions is the first step towards living a life of resilience and inner peace. The next principle will take you even further, showing you how to prepare for challenges before they even arrive, giving you the mental armor to face life's toughest moments with unwavering calm. So as you move forward today, remember this: you control your mind, your actions, and your responses. Focus on that, and you'll unlock a level of power and peace you never thought possible. And next, let's dive deeper into how you can fortify your mind every single day. Now that you understand the power of controlling what you can and accepting what you can't, let me ask you this: how do you start your day? What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? For most of us, we hit snooze, we rush to check our phones, we react to the day instead of preparing for it. But what if I told you there's a simple practice that can change the entire course of your day before it even begins? This practice, rooted in Stoicism, is known as morning self-examination, and it's one of the most powerful tools you can use to master your mindset and prepare for the challenges ahead. Every morning you have the opportunity to train your mind, to fortify yourself against whatever life throws at you. But how many of us actually take the time to do that? Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, recommended something simple but incredibly profound. Before you step out of bed, take a moment to reflect on the day ahead. Think about the challenges, the frustrations, and the people you might encounter. Imagine how they might test your patience or shake your peace of mind. Visualize the difficulties and then mentally prepare yourself to face them. You see, most of us wake up without intention, without direction. We allow the day to unfold and react to it, letting whatever happens take us where it will. But that's not Stoic thinking. True power lies in preparation, and preparation starts in the mind, first thing in the morning. Think about it. What's the worst that could happen today? What's the worst possible scenario you might face? Maybe it's an argument with a colleague, a major presentation at work, or a difficult conversation with a loved one. When you wake up, don't just jump out of bed and start running. Pause. This isn't pessimism. This is mental armor. The Stoic philosophers were masters of mental preparation. They knew that life is unpredictable and that it's not the unexpected events that shake us, it's how we react to them. Self-examination in the morning is your chance to preemptively fortify yourself. By visualizing the challenges of the day, you equip yourself with the mindset you need to face them head-on. Here's the key. By mentally preparing for adversity, you reduce the element of surprise. Think about your next big meeting, for example. You don't know if the technology will work, if your boss will be pleased with your work, or if someone will challenge your ideas. Instead of being swept up by the chaos, you'll walk into that meeting already prepared for the potential obstacles. You won't be thrown off balance when things don't go as planned because you've already imagined the worst-case scenarios and you're ready to handle them. Take a few minutes each morning and mentally rehearse the day. Ask yourself, what could go wrong today? Picture it. Imagine the obstacles, the criticisms, the mistakes, and then visualize how you would respond. Picture yourself handling each challenge with calm, with clarity, and with grace. This is your mental rehearsal, your chance to create the mindset that will allow you to move through the day without stress, without reaction, and without fear. In fact, Marcus Aurelius himself practiced this daily ritual. He would wake up and remind himself that he would encounter ingratitude, disloyalty, selfishness, and ignorance. And rather than feeling upset or overwhelmed by those things, he would remind himself that these things were beyond his control. He would prepare his mind to face them without losing his inner peace. This is Stoic wisdom in action, and it works. Because when you visualize challenges, you strip away their power. You stop being a victim of them. When you're prepared for the difficulties of the day, they no longer control you. Instead, you control how you respond. You choose whether to get frustrated, upset, or defeated, or whether to stay calm, rational, and focused. Let's take a practical example. Imagine you're about to give a big presentation at work. It's a moment of pressure, and it's easy to let anxiety take over. But if you've practiced morning self-examination, you've already prepared your mind for any potential setbacks. You know that there might be technical difficulties or that someone might challenge your ideas. You've already visualized how to respond with confidence, grace, and poise. You're ready. Now, I'm not saying that every day will be smooth sailing just because you've mentally prepared. Life is still unpredictable. But what you will find is that when challenges come your way, you'll handle them differently. You won't react impulsively. You won't let anger or frustration take over. Instead, you'll be in control. You'll have a clear mind, a steady heart, and a focused spirit. And that's the power of Stoicism. Here's how to make this work for you. When you wake up tomorrow, take just 5 minutes before you do anything else. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and think about the day ahead. Visualize the obstacles you might face. Picture the worst-case scenarios, and then imagine yourself responding calmly, logically, and effectively. Prepare yourself for the challenges, and let go of the fear or anxiety that comes with uncertainty. And here's the bonus. This practice not only makes you mentally stronger, it also makes you more productive. Because when you've mentally prepared for challenges, you waste less energy reacting. You become more focused, more present, and more effective in everything you do. But this is just the beginning. Because the next principle is about turning every obstacle you face into an opportunity for growth, a chance to transform adversity into strength. And once you've embraced the power of morning self-examination, you'll be ready to embrace this next step. So, as you move forward today, remember this. Your mornings set the tone for your day. Take control. Visualize your challenges. Prepare your mind. And you'll walk through the day with confidence, clarity, and inner strength. This is how the Stoics lived, and this is how you can live too. Stay tuned, because we're about to dive into how to truly embrace life's challenges and turn them into your greatest teachers. Let's continue building on what we've learned so far. In the first two principles, we explored how to take control of what you can and let go of what you can't, and how preparing your mind each morning sets you up to face the day with clarity and calm. But here's the hard truth. No matter how prepared you are, life is still unpredictable. Challenges, setbacks, failures, they will happen. And it's how we respond to them that truly defines us. That's where the third Stoic principle comes in, and it's one of the most transformative lessons of all. Amor fati, love your fate. Amor fati, which translates to love of fate, isn't just about accepting life's ups and downs, it's about embracing them. Not as burdens, not as obstacles to be avoided, but as integral parts of your journey. Think about that for a second. Imagine viewing every setback, every challenge, every struggle in your life, not as something to fear or resist, but as something to love. As a part of the path that's leading you to growth, to strength, to becoming the best version of yourself. This might sound radical, right? How can you love your fate when life hands you difficult circumstances or suffering? The idea of loving hardship seems counterintuitive, but this is exactly where Stoic philosophy flips the script on how we see the world. You see, amor fati isn't about passively accepting everything that comes your way. It's about choosing to see the beauty in every experience, no matter how challenging, because every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Let me give you a real example. You may have heard of Frida Kahlo, one of the most iconic artists in history. At the age of 18, Frida was involved in a horrific bus accident that shattered her spine, pelvis, and legs. She spent months bedridden in intense pain, facing countless surgeries and an uncertain future. In the face of this tragedy, most people would have given up. Most people would have been consumed by bitterness, regret, and despair, but not Frida. Instead of seeing her suffering as something to be resented, she chose to embrace it. She turned her pain into art, painting vivid self-portraits that expressed both her physical and emotional suffering. She didn't just endure her fate, she loved it. She saw the pain as an integral part of her story, as something that gave her a deeper understanding of herself and the world around her. Through her art, she transformed her suffering into a powerful message of strength, resilience, and beauty. Frida's story isn't just inspiring, it's a perfect example of amor fati in action. When you love your fate, you stop seeing hardships as something to overcome. Instead, you see them as an opportunity to develop character, to find strength in adversity, and to learn from every experience, no matter how difficult. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that suffering isn't something to fear, it's something to welcome. Because it's in the struggle, in the pain, that we grow the most. You might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but what does this actually look like in my life? Well, think about the struggles you're facing right now. It might be a tough project at work, a difficult relationship, or a personal goal that seems just out of reach. How do you usually respond when things don't go your way? Do you get frustrated? Do you feel defeated? Or do you step back and ask yourself, how can I use this challenge to grow? Amor fati teaches us that everything in life, the good and the bad, is an opportunity to shape our character. Instead of resisting life's obstacles, we learn to love them. Because every challenge, every difficulty holds a lesson. It's the difficult moments that shape us into who we're meant to be. And when you start to see your struggles in this light, something incredible happens. You stop being a victim to your circumstances. You stop allowing life to happen to you, and you start happening with life. Let's take a more personal example. Maybe you're working on a big career goal and things just aren't moving fast enough. You're frustrated and the road ahead feels like it's full of roadblocks. But instead of focusing on how unfair the situation is, try asking yourself, what can I learn from this? What lessons can this challenge teach me? Perhaps you realize that the setbacks are pushing you to be more creative, more resourceful, or more persistent. Maybe the failure is giving you an opportunity to refine your approach or develop new skills. Suddenly, the obstacles aren't so daunting, they're stepping stones. Now, I know this isn't always easy. It takes practice, it takes a shift in mindset, and it takes resilience. But the power of amor fati is that over time it transforms how you experience life. You stop looking at hardship as something to be feared and start seeing it as part of the process of becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Here's the most powerful part. Amor fati isn't just about dealing with hardship. It's about learning to love life in its entirety. The good, the bad, the easy, the hard, it's all part of the same journey. So often we're conditioned to think that happiness is about avoiding pain or seeking pleasure, but Stoicism teaches us that true fulfillment comes from embracing the full spectrum of experience. It comes from accepting life as it is and finding joy in every moment, no matter how it unfolds. Think about the way you view challenges right now. Do you resist them? Do you fight against them, wishing they would go away? Or do you embrace them, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity for growth? The truth is, life isn't going to stop throwing challenges your way. But by practicing amor fati, you can choose to love every moment, every high and every low, as a gift that helps you grow. As we move forward, remember this. The obstacles you face are not your enemy. They are your greatest teachers. In the next principle, we'll explore how to separate your emotions from your actions so that no matter how difficult the situation, you can respond with calm and clarity. And that, my friends, is how you start to truly master your life. So, take a moment today to look at your struggles with a new perspective. Love your fate. Love every challenge, every hardship, and every success, because it's all part of the path that leads you to becoming the person you're meant to be, and trust me, the journey is worth it. Now, as we've journeyed through the first 3 principles, you've learned how to control what you can and let go of what you can't. How to prepare your mind each morning to face whatever the day holds, and how to embrace life's challenges with amor fati, the love of fate. But there's one more crucial principle that will take your ability to navigate life's chaos to the next level. That principle is the ability to separate emotions from actions. Let's be real for a moment. How many times have you found yourself in a situation where your emotions completely hijacked your actions? Maybe it was a heated argument where you said things you didn't mean, or a stressful day at work where you let frustration cloud your decisions. How often have you let anger, anxiety, or fear dictate how you behave, only to regret it later? This is where Stoicism truly sets us apart. The Stoics teach us that while we can't always control our emotions, because emotions are natural responses to life's events, we can always control how we act on those emotions. You can't stop feeling anger, fear, or sadness, but you can choose how to respond. And that's where true power lies, in the space between feeling and acting. Imagine this. You're sitting at work, and your boss gives you feedback that feels more like criticism than constructive advice. Immediately, your body tenses, your mind races with frustration, and your heart begins to pound. It's natural. But what happens next? In that split second, you have a choice. You can either react impulsively, letting that anger explode, or you can pause, separate the feeling from the action, and respond with calm and clarity. This is where the Stoic principle of separating emotions from actions becomes your superpower. Instead of being a victim to your emotions, you become the master of your responses. And that, my friends, is the key to living a life of strength and composure. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said it perfectly. It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Let that sink in. It's not the situation itself, but how we interpret it and react to it that causes us distress. The feedback from your boss isn't what upsets you. It's the interpretation you place on it, the belief that it's unfair, the assumption that you've failed, the fear that you'll be judged or criticized. Those are the things that disturb you. But here's the incredible truth. You can change that. By learning to separate your emotions from your actions, you can stop those knee-jerk reactions from taking control. The Stoics taught that emotions are not the enemy, they're simply part of being human. What matters is how we handle them. Think about it. How many times have you said something in anger that you later regretted? Or made a rash decision driven by fear or anxiety? I know I've been there. The problem is that when we act impulsively based on our emotions, we give them power over us. We allow them to shape our behavior instead of us shaping our behavior with reason, clarity, and thoughtfulness. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. No. Emotions are natural, but emotions don't have to control you. Here's where Stoic wisdom comes in. By creating space between what you feel and what you do, you gain the ability to choose your response rather than simply reacting. It's about gaining control over your reactions so that you can respond with wisdom, patience, and composure, no matter what life throws at you. Now let me give you a simple but powerful tool that will help you do this. It's called the pause, and it's a game changer. Whenever you feel an intense emotion rise up, whether it's anger, frustration, fear, or anxiety, pause for just a moment. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you need to. And in that space, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What's causing this feeling? And then ask, how do I want to respond to this feeling? You've just created the space between stimulus and reaction. And in that space, you've taken back control. For example, imagine you're in a meeting and someone says something that triggers you. Instead of immediately firing back with a defensive or angry response, you pause. You take a deep breath. You acknowledge the feeling of anger or frustration, but you don't let it dictate your actions. You choose to respond calmly, perhaps asking a thoughtful question or offering a constructive solution. By creating this space between emotion and action, you turn a potentially volatile situation into an opportunity to demonstrate maturity and self-control. This pause doesn't just work in professional settings, it works in all areas of your life. Whether it's dealing with a difficult family member, navigating a tough conversation with a friend, or simply managing your own internal stress, pausing gives you the power to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Now, let me ask you, what's the price you pay when you don't separate emotions from actions? How many times have you made decisions out of anger, fear, or frustration, only to regret them later? What could you have done differently if you'd paused, taken a breath, and chosen your response with clarity? The truth is, this principle will not only save you from unnecessary conflict and regret, but it will also transform your relationships, your career, and your inner peace. You'll no longer be at the mercy of your emotions. Instead, you'll be able to engage with the world in a way that's grounded, rational, and calm, no matter what's going on around you. But the beauty of Stoicism is that it doesn't just stop with controlling our emotions. It's about living virtuously, making decisions based on wisdom, not impulse. And that's where we're going next. In the next principle, we'll explore the power of silence and how it can help you navigate life's challenges with even greater clarity and control. So stay tuned, because the next step will teach you how to create space for true inner strength and wisdom. For now, take a moment to reflect. In your daily life, where can you start separating your emotions from your actions? When you pause and make the conscious choice to respond, you'll find that you gain not only control over your behavior, but control over your destiny. Now that you've learned how to separate your emotions from your actions, let's dive into one of the most powerful tools at your disposal: the power of silence. In a world that constantly demands more noise, more opinions, more reactions, It's easy to forget the immense strength that lies in simply being quiet. But let me tell you this, silence is not weakness. In fact, silence is one of the most potent tools for cultivating true inner power, and it's a practice that the Stoics understood deeply. Think about the last time you were in a tense situation. Maybe it was a heated argument, a stressful meeting, or a moment of conflict with someone you care about. How did you respond? Did you react immediately, throwing words into the air without thinking, allowing your emotions to drive your actions? Or did you take a moment to pause, to listen, and to choose your words carefully? The Stoic principle of silence is all about mastering the space between stimulus and response. It's about learning to harness the power of not reacting right away. Instead, you take that moment to breathe, to think, and to make a conscious decision about how to engage. And in that decision-making space, you find your true strength. Silence gives you the opportunity to pause before jumping into action. It's not about being passive or weak. Rather, it's about being deliberate and wise in how you communicate. Silence allows you to observe, to understand the situation fully before reacting. When you're silent, you're giving yourself the mental clarity to make thoughtful, reasoned decisions rather than being swept away by emotion. I'll ask you a question. How many times have you said something in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? Maybe it was a sharp comment in a disagreement or an impulsive response in a stressful situation. We've all been there. The thing is, once words are spoken, they can't be taken back. But what if you had chosen to remain silent for just a moment? What if, instead of reacting, you paused to collect your thoughts before responding? This is where the power of silence comes into play. Imagine that in every moment of conflict, frustration, or tension, you chose to remain silent for just a moment before responding. Instead of firing back in anger or anxiety, you gave yourself the chance to think. And in that brief pause, you could choose the words that would lead to a better outcome, rather than impulsively reacting based on emotion. Think about the power of a well-timed pause. In a meeting at work, instead of interrupting or defending yourself when someone criticizes you, you remain silent. You take a deep breath. You process the feedback, and then you respond thoughtfully. By doing so, you not only show restraint and wisdom, but also earn the respect of those around you. In relationships, when faced with a difficult conversation, silence allows you to listen deeply, to truly understand the other person's perspective before jumping to conclusions or offering your own opinion. The philosopher Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of Stoic silence. It's not just about holding your tongue. It's about cultivating the ability to listen, to truly understand what's being said before you respond. And here's the thing, by choosing silence, you create space for wisdom. In that space, you can weigh your words, consider your actions, and choose the response that aligns with your true values. Silence isn't just about holding back. It's about finding the clarity and control to respond in the best possible way. Let me share a real-life example that demonstrates this power. There's a story of a young manager named Scott who was in a meeting with his team when his boss publicly criticized him for a mistake he'd made. In the past, Scott would have reacted immediately, defending himself, raising his voice, or feeling humiliated. But this time, Scott remembered the Stoic practice of silence. Instead of reacting impulsively, he paused. He took a deep breath, considered his response, and then calmly said, "Thank you for the feedback. I'll review the issue and find a way to fix it." By practicing silence, Scott not only kept the situation from escalating, but also demonstrated maturity, composure, and self-control. The tone of the meeting softened, and respect was restored. His boss responded positively, and the meeting moved forward constructively. In that moment of silence, Scott regained control, turned the situation around, and earned the respect of everyone in the room. This is the power of silence. It doesn't just preserve your peace, it amplifies your wisdom and influence. By choosing to listen first, speak second, and respond thoughtfully, you transform every conversation, every interaction into an opportunity for strength and growth. Silence isn't about being passive or withdrawing, it's about choosing the right moment to speak and ensuring that your words carry weight and meaning. But silence isn't just about communication with others, it's also about the communication you have with yourself. In the constant noise of modern life, it's easy to get lost in the chatter of your own thoughts, your fears, your doubts, your distractions. But silence allows you to hear your own inner wisdom. When you quiet the external noise, you can listen to the voice of reason, the voice of clarity, and the voice of your true self. This practice of inner silence is crucial for personal growth. When you're constantly reacting to the noise around you, you lose the ability to think clearly, to reflect, and to make deliberate decisions. But when you make silence a habit, both externally and internally, you create the mental space to grow, to learn, and to thrive. So, how can you start practicing the power of silence today? It's simple. The next time you're in a heated conversation or a tense situation, take a deep breath before you speak. Give yourself that moment of pause. Ask yourself, what's the best response here? Choose your words with intention and notice the shift in how you handle conflict and communication. And remember, silence is not just a tool for difficult moments, it's a way of life. The more you practice silence, the more you cultivate a steady, composed, and powerful presence in all areas of your life. In the next principle, we'll build on this idea and talk about how to embrace the uncertainty of life with grace and courage. But for now, take a moment to reflect on the power of silence in your own life. Start using it as a tool to reclaim your inner strength, sharpen your clarity, and master the art of thoughtful response. Embrace silence, and you'll unlock a deeper sense of wisdom, influence, and peace, both with others and with yourself. Now that you've mastered the power of silence and you've learned how to respond thoughtfully to your emotions, let's take it a step further. You've built the foundation for handling life's challenges with grace, but there's one more crucial lesson to learn, one that's often the hardest to face: accepting uncertainty. In today's world, uncertainty is everywhere. Life is unpredictable. The future is unknown. We can't control every outcome, and we certainly can't predict what tomorrow will bring. And that can be terrifying. But here's the Stoic truth. Uncertainty is not your enemy. It's a part of life. And when you accept it, you unlock the freedom to live fully and with purpose. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself anxious or paralyzed by the fear of the unknown? Maybe it's the uncertainty of a job change, a big decision, or the path your life is taking. We've all experienced that overwhelming feeling of not knowing what comes next. It's natural to fear uncertainty. It's part of being human. But Stoicism teaches us that we can't avoid it, so we must learn to embrace it. The Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius understood that life is filled with uncertainty and that we will always face the unknown in some form, but they didn't run from it. They accepted it, and in doing so, they found strength. Instead of fighting against uncertainty, they embraced it, and by embracing it, they found peace, resilience, and freedom. So how do we learn to embrace uncertainty in our own lives? It starts with recognizing something fundamental. You cannot control everything. As much as we may wish to plan every step of our journey, control every outcome, and avoid every mistake, that's simply not how life works. The truth is, no matter how much you prepare, there will always be things beyond your control. And that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. Imagine this. You've worked tirelessly for a big promotion at work, and the day of your performance review arrives, You're nervous because you can't predict what the feedback will be. Will you get the promotion? Will your hard work be recognized? In that moment, the uncertainty feels overwhelming. But what if, instead of focusing on the outcome you can't control, you focused on what you can control? Your effort, your attitude, your preparation. You've done the work, you've put in the hours, the rest is out of your hands. And by focusing on what you can control, you remove the anxiety that uncertainty brings. This is the essence of Stoic thinking. It's about recognizing the limits of your control and accepting that uncertainty is part of the deal. Rather than living in fear of what might happen, you shift your focus to the present moment and take action where you can. And when you do that, uncertainty doesn't feel so scary. It feels like an invitation to take risks, to step outside your comfort zone, and to trust that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. This principle of accepting uncertainty also applies to the bigger picture of life. We all have dreams, goals, and plans for the future, but life often throws curveballs. A job you thought you'd land doesn't come through. A relationship you believed in falls apart. Plans you've made suddenly get derailed. How do you respond? Do you resist? Do you fight against the flow of life, feeling bitter or helpless? Or do you embrace the uncertainty, trusting that whatever happens is part of your growth? The truth is, the more you fight against uncertainty, the more you tie yourself to an outcome you can't control. But when you let go of the need to predict and control everything, you create space for flexibility and adaptability, and that's where real freedom lies. In fact, embracing uncertainty opens up possibilities you never would have imagined. Think about some of the most significant moments in your life. Have they always gone according to plan? Probably not, but that's where the magic happens. It's in the uncertainty that we find new paths, new opportunities, and new lessons. Take, for example, the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became a literary icon, Rowling faced immense uncertainty. She was a single mother living on welfare, with no clear path to success. She wrote the first Harry Potter book while struggling with depression, rejection, and financial instability. For years, the future seemed uncertain, and many publishers rejected her manuscript. But rather than giving in to fear or letting uncertainty paralyze her, she kept going. She embraced the uncertainty, took risks, and trusted in her story. And the rest, as they say, is history. Rowling's journey is a powerful reminder that uncertainty is not something to fear, it's something to work with. When you accept uncertainty, you open yourself up to the unknown possibilities that lie ahead. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start taking action in the present. And that's where real success begins. Now let me ask you, how do you currently handle uncertainty in your life? When you face a difficult decision or an unknown outcome, do you get caught up in worry and fear? Do you try to control every detail, hoping to avoid failure or disappointment? Or do you embrace the uncertainty, trusting that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes your way? If you can learn to accept uncertainty, you'll experience a freedom unlike any other. You'll stop letting fear dictate your decisions, and instead, you'll approach life with courage, adaptability, and resilience. Because here's the truth, life is uncertain, and that's a gift, not a curse. It means that the future is full of endless possibilities. It means that every challenge, every setback, and every twist in the road is an opportunity for growth. As you move forward, remember this: don't fear uncertainty. Embrace it. When you do, you'll find the strength to face anything that comes your way with confidence and clarity. And in the next principle, we'll explore how setting internal goals, rather than focusing on external achievements, can give you the peace and motivation to continue pushing forward, no matter what life throws at you. Stay tuned, because this next step will take your journey towards self-mastery to the next level. Now that we've explored how to embrace uncertainty and accept life's unpredictability, it's time to move to one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life. This is where the true magic of Stoicism unfolds. It's about understanding the difference between internal goals and external goals, and why internal goals are the key to living a life of lasting peace, fulfillment, and resilience. We live in a world that constantly pushes us toward external success. We are told that we must achieve the next milestone, gain recognition, get that promotion, or buy that house. We chase after approval, praise, likes, and material possessions, believing that these external markers of success will bring us happiness and meaning. But here's the truth. External goals are fleeting. They are outside of your control, and no matter how much you achieve, they will never truly satisfy your inner world. This is where the Stoics challenge us. Focus on internal goals, not external ones. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And this is exactly the shift we need to make. Instead of placing your happiness, your peace, and your sense of purpose in the hands of external achievements, start focusing on internal growth, the kind of growth that is entirely within your control. Think about it for a second. When you set external goals, you tie your self-worth to something outside of yourself. For example, you might set the goal to lose 20 pounds. That's an external goal. But what happens when you reach it? What happens if you don't? Your happiness becomes contingent on that one outcome, and it's always subject to factors beyond your control. External goals are tied to external conditions, which means they are constantly in flux and can never provide lasting satisfaction. Now consider an internal goal, like becoming the best version of yourself, or cultivating a mindset of patience, discipline, and perseverance. These goals are based on who you are, not on what you achieve. Internal goals are rooted in your own growth, values, and character. They are things you can work on every single day, regardless of the circumstances around you. And that's why they are so powerful. Take the example of James, someone who struggled with body image and external validation. He used to measure his self-worth by how many pounds he could lose or how much muscle he could gain, constantly chasing after the ideal image. But it was never enough. Each achievement felt empty because it was always tied to an external result. Then one day, James realized that he was missing something crucial. He started setting internal goals. Instead of focusing solely on the weight on the scale, he focused on how he felt during his workouts, how strong and healthy his body was becoming, and how much more energy he had to live his life. His goal was no longer to achieve a number. It was to become someone who was healthy, consistent, and proud of the effort he put in each day. James's story shows us something powerful. When we focus on internal goals, we create a deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction. We take the pressure off of outcomes, and instead we find fulfillment in the process. This is what the Stoics understood so well. They believed that living a life of virtue and wisdom is the true path to happiness, because these are things we can control. Things that are not dependent on external circumstances. Now, don't get me wrong, external goals are not inherently bad. Achieving external milestones like getting a promotion, buying a house, or finishing a big project can be great. But the problem comes when we base our entire sense of self-worth and happiness on them. When we attach our happiness to things that are outside our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. What happens if things don't go as planned? What happens if the promotion doesn't come through or the project fails? Suddenly our self-esteem crumbles because our happiness was tied to something that was beyond our control. But when you set internal goals, goals focused on growth, discipline, learning, and resilience, you empower yourself to live with peace, regardless of external circumstances. You stop relying on things that can be taken away from you, and instead, You build a foundation on what you can control: your actions, your mindset, and your character. This shift also changes the way you experience setbacks. Let's say you don't get that promotion at work. If your goal was purely external, your whole world might feel like it's falling apart. But if your goal was internal, focused on becoming better at your job, learning from your mistakes, and improving your skills, you can take the setback in stride. It's no longer a reflection of your worth as a person. It's simply part of your journey toward continuous improvement. The power of internal goals is that they put the focus back on who you are, not just what you do. And who you are is something that no one can take away. You have the power to shape your mindset, your character, and your actions every day. You don't need external validation to feel good about yourself. You don't need to hit a certain number on the scale or land a specific job to feel proud. What matters is that you show up every day with intention, with growth, and with a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. So, what internal goals can you set for yourself today? Maybe it's becoming more patient, more disciplined, or more consistent. Maybe it's learning to be more present, to manage your emotions better, or to cultivate a mindset of gratitude. These goals are completely within your control. And no matter what happens in the external world, they will always guide you toward the person you want to be. As you move forward, start to shift your focus away from the external and toward the internal. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of mindset do I want to cultivate? Focus on the process, not just the results, and you'll find that true fulfillment comes from the inside out. And in the next principle, we'll explore how living for the greater good, not just for yourself, can unlock a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in your life. So stay tuned, because we're about to dive into a powerful idea that will transform the way you think about success and happiness. Now that we've explored the power of internal goals and learned how to focus on our growth rather than external validation, we're about to dive into one of the most powerful lessons Stoicism has to offer: community over individual. In a world that constantly celebrates the self-made individual, the one who rises to the top alone, achieves success on their own terms, and takes all the credit, it can be easy to forget that true strength doesn't come from standing alone. It comes from standing together. Here's a truth that's central to Stoic philosophy. We are all part of something greater. Our lives are intertwined with the lives of others, and our individual success, happiness, and growth are linked to the well-being of the community around us. The Stoics understood that we don't live in isolation. We are citizens of the world, members of society, and our actions affect those around us. And this is where the Stoic principle of community over individual comes in. In our modern world, it's easy to fall into the trap of believing that success is a solo journey. We're told that we need to outperform others, to compete, to climb the ladder of success at any cost. But what happens when we focus solely on ourselves? We miss out on something much greater: the power of collective strength, shared purpose, and mutual support. Think about this for a moment. How many of us have found fulfillment, joy, or even success when we've shared those moments with others? Whether it's celebrating an achievement with family, collaborating with a team, or supporting a friend through a tough time. The moments that truly matter in life often revolve around our connection with others. When we place the needs of our community alongside our own, we find meaning, purpose, and a deep sense of fulfillment. The Stoics didn't see themselves as isolated individuals. They saw themselves as integral parts of a greater whole. Marcus Aurelius, in his writings, often reminds us that we are all part of the same organism. He urges us to remember that our actions should serve the common good, not just our own personal gain. And this isn't just a noble idea, it's a practical one. When we live with the understanding that our well-being is connected to the well-being of those around us, we act with more purpose, compassion, and wisdom. This doesn't mean that we should disregard our own needs or goals. It doesn't mean sacrificing our individuality or our personal growth. Far from it. The Stoic principle of community over individual emphasizes that our personal growth and our success are best achieved when we contribute to the well-being of the whole. True success is not about outshining others, it's about lifting others up while we rise. It's about creating a world where everyone can thrive, not just ourselves. Let's break this down further. Imagine you're part of a team at work. You could focus solely on your own performance, trying to climb the ladder, make the most money, and achieve the most recognition. But what happens if the team fails? What happens if the project doesn't succeed because you've been focused only on your own individual success? When we focus only on ourselves, we neglect the importance of collaboration, cooperation, and shared purpose. Now, picture the same scenario, but this time you focus on the success of the team. You support your colleagues, share knowledge, and work together toward a common goal. You contribute to the collective success, and as a result, you all rise together. In this scenario, your own success is enriched by the success of others. This is the power of community over individual. It's the understanding that when the group succeeds, we all succeed. The Stoics knew that the strength of a society depends on the strength of each individual, but more importantly, it depends on how we work together for the common good. This principle applies not just in the workplace, but in all aspects of life: family, friendships, and even global communities. Think about the relationships in your life. How often do we focus solely on our own needs and desires, forgetting that the people around us need our support, love, and care? The Stoics teach us that when we shift our focus from self-interest to the well-being of the people around us, we create a deeper sense of connection, purpose, and fulfillment. There's a powerful lesson here. The more we focus on lifting others, the more we lift ourselves. In fact, the Stoics believed that we are at our best when we act for the benefit of others. This doesn't mean we need to sacrifice our own needs, but it means we must recognize that our success and happiness are connected to the well-being of those around us. By contributing to the community, by showing empathy, by being a force for good, we elevate not only others but ourselves. And let's be real, in today's fast-paced, individualistic world, this can be hard. Society often tells us that we need to be the best, the smartest, the wealthiest, the most successful. We're told to compete, not collaborate. But this constant pressure to outdo others can leave us feeling isolated, stressed, and unfulfilled. That's why the Stoic message of community over individual is more important than ever. When you focus on the well-being of the group, you realize that there's more than enough success to go around. You stop seeing others as competitors and start seeing them as collaborators in the shared journey of life. You begin to understand that the collective good is just as important as your own. And in this understanding, you find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. Think about the impact this could have on your life right now. How would your relationships, your career, and your community change if you prioritize the collective good over individual gain? What if your success was measured by how much you helped others succeed, how much you contributed to the growth of the group, rather than just how much you accomplished alone? In the next principle, we'll explore how stepping out of our comfort zones, embracing voluntary discomfort, can transform our willpower and resilience. So, stay tuned, because we're about to dive into a practice that will make you even stronger, physically, mentally, and emotionally. For now, take a moment to think about the communities you are part of. How can you contribute to the success and well-being of others? When you live for the good of the whole, you'll find that you not only help others grow, but you'll grow with them. Now, as we move further into our Stoic journey, we arrive at one of the most transformative principles you'll ever learn: voluntary discomfort. This may sound counterintuitive, right? In a world where comfort is often seen as the ultimate goal, whether it's physical, emotional, or financial comfort, why would we choose discomfort? Why would we seek it out? Here's the truth. True strength is forged through discomfort. It's when we step outside of our comfort zones that we begin to truly grow. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't shy away from hardship or challenge. They embraced it because they knew that only by facing discomfort head-on could they cultivate resilience, mental toughness, and a deeper appreciation for life. But let's be clear, this isn't about seeking out pain for the sake of pain. Voluntary discomfort is about intentionally putting yourself in situations that challenge you, push you, and force you to grow. It's about choosing discomfort to build your inner strength, to prove to yourself that you are capable of handling anything life throws at you. Think about your own life. How many times have you avoided discomfort, whether it was skipping a tough workout, avoiding a difficult conversation, or procrastinating on a project because it felt overwhelming? It's easy to avoid discomfort, we all do it. But every time we avoid discomfort, we miss an opportunity for growth. We rob ourselves of the chance to build mental and physical resilience. This is where voluntary discomfort comes in. It's a conscious decision to face discomfort rather than run from it. It's waking up early for a workout when you'd rather sleep in. It's sitting with the discomfort of a tough conversation instead of avoiding it. It's doing the hard work that leads to long-term growth, even when it feels difficult or inconvenient. One of the best examples of voluntary discomfort is something as simple as physical exercise. When you push your body, when you run that extra mile or lift that heavier weight, it's uncomfortable. It's hard. But it's in those moments of discomfort that you strengthen your body. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought possible. You push your limits, and each time you face that discomfort, you come out stronger, both physically and mentally. But it doesn't stop at physical discomfort. Voluntary discomfort also applies to your mindset and emotional growth. Think about situations where you've had to confront fear or anxiety. Maybe it's public speaking, facing rejection, or taking a risk in your career. Every time you face that discomfort, you build the courage to do it again. Each uncomfortable situation becomes a stepping stone to personal growth and confidence. The beauty of voluntary discomfort is that it teaches you how to handle life's inevitable challenges with grace and resilience. Life will always throw discomfort your way, whether it's through a tough day at work, a personal setback, or an unexpected challenge. But when you practice voluntary discomfort, you train yourself to handle those moments with composure and strength. You learn that you don't need to avoid discomfort to live a fulfilling life. In fact, you embrace it as part of the process. Take a moment to reflect. What discomfort are you avoiding in your life? Is there something you've been putting off because it feels hard or uncomfortable? Maybe it's a difficult conversation, a goal that requires hard work, or a habit you need to break. Instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Embrace the discomfort. You'll be amazed at how much you grow when you stop running from discomfort and start using it as a tool for personal development. Here's the key. Discomfort is temporary. The challenges you face today, the discomfort you feel in the moment, will pass. But the strength, resilience, and growth you gain from facing it will last forever. And that's where the real power lies. By voluntarily stepping into discomfort, you train your mind to embrace life's challenges with confidence, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you have the inner strength to handle it. Now, let's move forward. Once you've embraced voluntary discomfort, you'll be ready for the next step, learning how to continuously examine and adjust your thinking so you can refine your mindset and grow even stronger. In the next principle, we'll explore how self-reflection can sharpen your mental clarity and help you become the best version of yourself. But for now, I want you to remember this: embrace discomfort. It's in those uncomfortable moments that you will find your true strength. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional discomfort, choose to face it head on and watch how it transforms you. Because growth doesn't happen in comfort, it happens in discomfort. And that's where your true power lies. As we wrap up our journey through the powerful principles of Stoicism, we come to the final and perhaps most important lesson of all. Continuously adjust your thinking. We've covered a lot. How to take control of your actions, embrace discomfort, and put community before individual success. But the truth is, none of this matters if we don't continuously refine and adjust the way we think. Because it's our thinking that shapes our actions, our choices, and ultimately, the life we live. Let's think about this for a moment. How often do you find yourself stuck in old thought patterns? Maybe you're repeating the same negative beliefs about yourself, about others, or about the world around you. You know the ones, I'm not good enough, this is too hard, I'll never succeed. These thoughts can keep you trapped, preventing you from growing, evolving, and truly stepping into your full potential. But here's the Stoic secret. Your thoughts are not facts. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's true. And the beauty of Stoic philosophy is that it teaches us to question, challenge, and adjust those thoughts constantly. It's about shifting your mindset in real time so you don't get stuck in destructive patterns. Instead, you learn to see the world with clarity, wisdom, and a sense of purpose. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic minds, kept a journal where he would reflect on his thoughts, beliefs, and actions. He regularly checked himself to ensure that his mindset aligned with his values. This is a practice we can all adopt. Self-examination isn't just a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process, a daily habit of checking in with your mind, adjusting your thinking, and refining your worldview. So, how do we continuously adjust our thinking in a practical way? It starts with awareness. You have to become aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs, and the automatic judgments you make throughout the day. Awareness is the first step to change. When you catch yourself thinking negatively or limiting yourself, ask, is this thought helping me grow? Is this thought serving me? Once you identify the thought, the next step is to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought based on reality? Is it aligned with my values? What evidence do I have to support this belief? More often than not, when you ask yourself these questions, you'll realize that many of your thoughts are rooted in fear, past experiences, or assumptions, not facts. For example, let's say you're preparing for a big presentation at work. You might start thinking, I'm not good enough for this. What if I fail? But instead of letting these thoughts dictate your actions, you pause, you question them. You ask yourself, what evidence do I have that I'm not good enough? You might realize that you've prepared thoroughly, that you've had success in the past, and that your fears are simply projections of your insecurities. When you adjust your thinking in this way, you shift from a place of fear to a place of empowerment. This is why the practice of journaling is so powerful. Writing down your thoughts allows you to step outside of them, to see them objectively, and to make conscious decisions about whether or not to keep them. Marcus Aurelius did this every day. He'd ask himself questions, reflect on his actions, and make adjustments to ensure that he was always moving forward with purpose. Adjusting your thinking also means being open to growth. It means not being rigid in your beliefs or stuck in your ways. You can't grow if you're unwilling to change your mind, to learn new things, or to see things from a different perspective. Being open to change is a powerful part of Stoicism because it's through the process of change that we grow stronger, wiser, and more adaptable. Think about the times in your life when you've been forced to change your thinking. Maybe it was a setback, a failure, or a new challenge that forced you to rethink how you approach things. Those moments are uncomfortable, but they are also where the most growth happens. They are the moments when you realize that you can adjust your thinking, and in doing so, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new strengths, and new ways of being. By continuously adjusting your thinking, you train yourself to be more resilient. You learn to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. You stop being stuck in negative patterns and start creating a mindset that is focused on growth, progress, and possibility. And this is where true strength lies, not in your ability to avoid obstacles, but in your ability to adjust, adapt, and move forward despite them. As we close, I want you to remember this: your thoughts shape your reality. The more you consciously adjust your thinking, the more you align your mindset with your values, and the more you create a life that is truly yours. This is the essence of Stoicism, learning to master your mind so that you can live with purpose, resilience, and peace. In the next step of your journey, remember that each day is an opportunity to reflect, adjust, and grow. And as you do, you'll find that your thinking becomes sharper, your actions become more intentional, and your life becomes a testament to the power of Stoic philosophy. So, as you continue on your path, ask yourself, what thought patterns do I need to adjust today? What limiting beliefs do I need to challenge in order to move forward? By continuously adjusting your thinking, you take control of your life, and in doing so, you unlock the full potential of who you are and who you're meant to be. We've journeyed through 10 powerful Stoic principles together, and each one has equipped you with the tools to live a life of resilience, clarity, and purpose. From mastering your emotions to embracing discomfort, from setting internal goals to prioritizing community, and from accepting uncertainty to continuously adjusting your thinking, the Stoic way teaches us that we have the power to shape our own destiny. But here's the most important takeaway: the power is within you. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's about taking control of your mindset, choosing how you respond to life's challenges, and growing into the person you're meant to be, no matter what life throws at you. It's about shifting your focus from external outcomes to internal growth, and recognizing that true success isn't defined by the world's standards, but by the strength and peace you cultivate within yourself. And the beauty of Stoic practice is that it doesn't require you to change everything at once. It's about small daily steps. It's about being more present in each moment, making intentional decisions, and constantly adjusting your mindset to align with your true values. Over time, these small shifts compound, and you'll find that your life becomes more aligned with your highest purpose, more focused, more fulfilled, and more empowered. So, ask yourself, where can I start today? Which Stoic principle will you embrace first? Maybe it's taking a moment to pause and reflect each morning, or stepping into discomfort with confidence. Maybe it's focusing on your internal growth rather than seeking external validation. Whatever it is, make it a habit. Make it part of your daily routine, and watch how your life begins to change. Remember, the journey to self-mastery doesn't have to be a solitary one. We're all in this together. So if you've found value in these Stoic teachings, I encourage you to share them. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the community of people who are committed to living a life of wisdom, strength, and purpose. Let's continue growing together. The path is long, but with Stoicism as your guide, you'll find the strength to face whatever comes your way. Keep practicing, keep evolving, and most importantly, keep striving to be the best version of yourself. Because the world needs people who embrace life with resilience, clarity, and unwavering purpose, and you are one of them. Thank you for watching. Stay stoic, and I'll see you in the next video.